Okay. You know, anytime I get asked the same question over and over again, I go, I must not have made a video about that topic. People were asking me about certain lenses, like the 28 to 300, which is, that's an ultra zoom. Actually, it's really one of only two ultra zooms that I recommend. Well, really three. The 18 to 200 Nikkor, the 28 to 300, which is a radically huge beast. I mean, 28 to 300, really? It's not really a real 300 millimeter at the far end. Also the Fuji. The best of all three of them is the Fuji 18 to 135, which is a lens that I procrastinated getting for quite some time. Because most ultra zooms suck. But I should have known that Fuji would have conquered it, and of course they did, and that was my mistake. The mistake that everybody makes, and it's not really the mistake of the purchaser, it's the mistake of the company. Nikon screws you this way, Canon screws you this way. Fuji not so much, really. Like their 50 to 200, I mean, it's fine at both ends. The 10 to 24, fine at both ends. What Nikon and Canon do to their customers is that they will give you a few extra millimeters and they'll dupe you. This is the same thing with specifications. You can't judge a camera by specifications. You can't judge a lens by its focal. Let's just take the 16 to 80, which is the kit lens for the Nikon D500. That lens is not so. Let's take the 24 to 120. There's another lens, a 24 to 120 f4. It is a sexy looking lens. However, it pretty much sucks. Now, it doesn't suck if you realistically look at the lens, which means it's more than decent enough, especially if you find a used copy. The 24 to 120 is not really a 24 to 120. It's more like a 30 millimeter or 28 millimeter to 105 or 115. It's kind of the same way. You need to look at these lenses, these shitty zoom lenses, and they're not shitty. They're just kind of shitty. You need to look at them the way you look at a sandwich. You know, you got the crusty, nasty. Remember, you used to peel the butts off of the crust of your sandwich, throw it away, or feed it to the birds or something. Same thing with these lenses. They make them seem wider than they really are to have a wow, that lens has got some serious coverage. Prime example, like Nikkor 12 to 24 f4, made in Japan. Oh, well, let's come out with a 10 to 24. And this time let's make it in China. Nikon still makes both. The 10 to 24 is not really a 10 to 24. It sucks butt between 10, 12, 13 millimeters. Basically the same lens design. They were able to make it a little wider. But they could have made the 12 to 24 a little wider, but they didn't because the optical necessity of the design meant that it sucked. Between most lenses, most zoom lenses, ultra zooms and super zooms, they could be made wider or longer simply by changing the geometry of the throw of the zoom. In other words, actually changing how far it will travel. In other words, if you could actually go in there with a Dremel tool and make it travel a little further and lengthen the flexi cables, they would work. The only problem is that they would suck. The problem with that is, though, that for advertising's sake, there are many lenses that should not exist in the focal ranges that they exist. It's just an optical necessity. All lens design is a trade-off. Let's take the 16 to 80 millimeter Nikkor, the kit lens for the D500. That's really like a 24 millimeter to 80 millimeter. Excuse me, 24 millimeter. Yeah, that one actually 16 to 80 is. It's right at 24 millimeter to 70 millimeters, which is kind of odd, right? 24 to 70? Oh, wait a minute, that's not odd at all. 24 to 70. It's not really a 16 to 80 millimeter. Well, sure it is. It's a 16 to 80 millimeter Nikkor. It is, but it isn't. You'll hear this said all over the place. Super zooms, ultra zooms. It's like, I love this lens. When I take it all the way to the near end or all the way to the far end, it sucks. Chromatic aberration, fall off, vignetting. It's like, I know. Nikon and Canon screwed you over just a little bit by extending the range of that lens beyond what it should have been made for. The Nikkor 12 to 24 f4 is not really a 12 to 24 f4. It is really, I said 12 to 24, hell. 24 to 120, excuse me. I got so many lenses going on in my brain at the same time. The 24 to 120 millimeter f4, it's not. It's like a 30 millimeter to 105 millimeter lens. If you ignore either end And I've said the 24 to 120 f4 is a crappy lens. If you can find it used at just like some sort of insane crazy ass price, even I would buy it. The thing is that you need to ignore either far end of the lens and kind of ignore it at the far end at f4 and say, well, it's not really very good, it's got too much vignetting at f4, so it's really at the far end in f5.6. Well, no, it's a fixed aperture, it's completely f4 all down the range. Yes, it is, but not really. It vignettes too much and has too much distortion on the far end, then it's not really a 24 to 120, is it? It's more like a 30 millimeter to 105. Let's just say 35 to 105. 35 to 105 is a perfectly acceptable range. Oh no, here at Nikon Incorporated, we're gonna make that lens more enticing. Instead of saying it's a 35 millimeter to f105, let's say it is a 24 to 120. Let's change the geometry of the throw of the lens design so that it will reach 24 and all the way out to 120. You see, Nikon was so busy for sake of advertising and sales, not asking whether they should do something, rather if they can do. Can you do it? Can you actually make it work? Yeah, but it's going to say, that's alright, people see all the specifications and will think that lens is awesome. So that's what Nikon does. It's undeniable, because I get asked this question all the time. It's like, I own this lens, I like it, but at the near end and the far end it sucks. It's like, yeah, the lens should not have been designed for that range. If you just ignore, what do you mean ignore it, Just ignore it. If you own a 24 to 120, just pretend it's like a 35 millimeter to f105. It's like, I'm outside of the range of what this lens is good at. That's the nature of many of the kit zooms. Not all of them, like the 24 to 85 VRG. That lens is fine, near to far. Just ignore that. The 28 to 300, you could forget about it at 28 and 300 millimeter. Just think of that lens as like a 35 millimeter to 270 millimeter lens. Well, yeah, but I bought a 28 to 300. Yeah, I know you did, but forget about it. It's a 35 millimeter to 270 millimeter lens. Okay? It's the way it is. It's the same way your bread crust. A lot of people ate their bread crust. I'm trying to think of a perfect analogy, right? It's kind of like the center of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If your mother made peanut butter and jelly, you know that she never spread the jam all the way to the edge, right? Nor the peanut butter. Most mothers are just like smack it in the middle. You should have been making your own damn peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But you just like stick it in the middle there and smear it around some, right? So if you open up that peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you go, oh damn, Mom, you didn't spread that shit all the way to the edge. It's the same way with the lenses, It's like, this peanut butter and jelly... I remember buying, like, some sort of peanut butter and jelly, the ones that you can get out of a vending machine, which I'll never do that again. Ever! And inside that peanut butter and jelly sandwich was they just, like, squirted 2 globs of peanut butter and jelly. So it was, like, 70% bare bread, and the only place that was real peanut butter and jelly was, like, in the 50% center of it. It's like, well, thank you for that shitty sandwich. Whoever made it. Go to hell. Lenses are the same way. They could get around that, but, it's advertising. Well, this is really a 35 millimeter to f105. No, but what if we market it as a 24 to 120 f4? Yeah, there we go. Make more money. People will see those specifications and go, oh my god, it's a perfect range. It's 24 to 120 millimeter. Yeah, no. You're enticed by the specifications. The reality does not meet the specifications. This is why you can't judge cameras or lenses based upon specifications. This is a huge error that Sony fanboys do all the time. Oh my god, this camera's got such amazing specifications. Like, yeah, you know what? Those specifications don't mean anything when you actually get out in the field and you start realizing the true nature of the beast. It's kind of like, that girl's so hot, and your friend goes, yeah, but she's got herpes. She really, specifications look nice, but the reality is a little different. So there is the secret of lenses, and that's how Nikon and other companies lie to you. Lie! Lie! And they do it. This video is irrefutable, and it's undeniable. Thank you for watching this video, and drop a buck or two, or like a red velvet cake. Yeah, oh, bow, bow, chicka, chicka. Bow, bow. I should not be eating something like that, said the fat dude. like this video, you can tell me to jump off a cliff, whatever makes you happy, whatever tickles your pickle, happy holidays and all that crap, blah, blah, blah. See you later.